All right, so this video will be about difficulties that Brazilians usually have with consonants of English. All right, so to begin with, I have the interdental fricatives, th, right? And the obvious reason is that we don't have this consonant in Portuguese, right? But it's obvious how the pronunciation is done, right? You need to place your tongue between your teeth and let air escape, as in th and the. Since it's a consonant we don't have in Portuguese, it takes, in the beginning, it takes some energy, some effort for you to go and practice, right? If you already speak some English and you're using a substitute for this sound as f, for instance, or s or t, the habit will make it even harder for you to change the habit, but it's worth trying to change it, okay? So one substitution, typical substitution that Brazilians do is to change th with s, as in, and it shouldn't be done because there are different words, right? So using th or s might lead to different words, as in thank, sank, think, sink, thin, sin, math, mass, path, pass, and mouth, mouse, okay? You can use these pairs to practice the pronunciation. These are called minimal pairs, okay? Words that are pronounced the same, except for one sound in the same position, okay? And they're a great tool for you to practice specific sounds, okay? Another typical substitution for Brazilians is to change th with t. And again, you might end up getting different words, as in three and tree, thick, tick, through, true, tenth, tent, math, mat, booth, and boot. Another common substitution is th and f, okay? And again, different words. Thought, thought, threat, fret, three, free, oath, oath, death, death, myth, and myth, okay? Now with the voiced interdental fricative, okay? A common substitution is for Brazilians to change the with the, okay? And again, you might end up getting different words, as in they and they, though, do, those, then, there, and there, okay? And here's more out of curiosity, just to show that there are very few words in English, but they're there, that contrast the voiceless and the voiced interdental fricatives, okay? So you have the noun teeth, and you have the verb to teeth. So when you say the baby's teething, it's because the baby's teeth are growing, right? So mouth, the noun, and to mouth, okay? Thigh and thy, archaic word. Ether and either, north, and here it's not really a minimal pair, but the adjective for north has a voiced interdental fricative, okay? Northern, all right? Here's a little video, it's a humorous video, as you're gonna see, but just to illustrate what mispronunciation of these sounds what might happen with mispronunciation of those sounds.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
So just a joke, right? People are saying we're sinking, and then what are you thinking about? But many people do pronounce I think instead of I think, okay? Next sound is h and r, okay? So many Brazilians, when they are faced with r, this retroflex R in a pre-vocalic position, they might tend to replace it with h, okay? Why this happens is because we actually have Retroflex R in Portuguese. It's called the R caipira, but it's always post-vocalic, right? So most Brazilians can, even if it's not part of their dialect, they can pronounce things like porta, portão, porteira, right? And we can do it easily, but it's in a post-vocalic position. In the pre-vocalic position, I don't think any dialect in English would say rato instead of rato, right? And that's how these words on the right should be pronounced, with a initial r. Okay, so here minimal pairs to distinguish the words based on these sounds. We have two different words when we pronounce home and roam, hose, rose, hat, rat, hole, roll, hate, rate, here, rear, hair, rare, hide, ride, hope, and rope. Another problem is with nasals, and I mentioned this in the previous video when I was talking about the consonants. And the thing is that in Brazilian Portuguese, we don't pronounce post-vocalic nasal consonants. Instead, we nasalize the vowel and drop the consonant, right? So, for example, telephone company TIM, we pronounce it chin, chin. We don't say chin, right? But in English, the name TIM is pronounced Tim. And then Brazilians will tend to say teen, chin, right? Or teen for teenager, right? We need to pronounce it teen. Or in Portuguese, quem, Q-U-E-M, quem é você? We pronounce it quem. We don't say cam, right? But here, the first word, we need to pronounce it cam. And the second one, can, right? So the same thing for them and then, Pam, pan, run, run, seem, seen, rom, ron. Okay, so these post-vocalic nasal consonants need to be articulated, all right? So here we have a post-vocalic n, which is a difficulty I already showed. Then we have which is a sound that I mentioned we have in Portuguese, but we never have it alone in Portuguese. When we pronounce this sound in Portuguese, there is always g or k following it. So it's the case of manga, right? When you're pronouncing manga, in the first syllable, you go man, and you have this sound. But you never have it alone. You don't have a word in Portuguese with man, for instance, but in English we do, right? But it's this articulation, as when we say man, before we go for the burst of the g, it's this sound that should be pronounced in the middle, okay? And at the end, it's a combination that is pronounceable in Portuguese, but usually we have a vowel at the end. So here we need to finish with the k, all right? So the triplets, the three words should be pronounced sun, sung, and sunk. Ban, bang, bank. Ran, rang, rank, thin, thing, think, done, dung, dunk, win, wing, wink. Here it's the post-vocalic L, right? O, post-vocalic O, also called dark L, right? And the thing is that we don't have it in Portuguese. Actually, in some dialects of the South, but usually an older generation, right? They will pronounce a distinction between adjective mal and adverb mal in Portuguese, right? But it's becoming rarer and rarer to see this sound in Portuguese, okay? But in English, we do have words ending in O in the first column, contrasted with words ending in O, okay, with this O post-vocalic L. So we have so and soul, bow, bowl, go, goal, mow, mole, row, roll, road, rolled, code, cold, coat, colt, okay? Now the L is not pronounced in these words. These words, it's silent, right? So there's no health or kel for talk or the modal verbs would, cold. There's no L there. They're pronounced half, calf, talk, chalk, would, could, should, bomb, palm, calm, salmon, and Lincoln. Okay, no L pronounced in these words. Another one is t and ch, especially if your dialect in Portuguese has the sound ch for chia and gia, right? For instance, because then in Portuguese, when we have t before e, in some dialects, in mine, for instance, we pronounce ch, right? And this might lead us into pronounce ch in English when it should be t, especially when the following sound is e, right? Or some form of e, or ia, okay? So for instance, here we have number 2, which is commonly mispronounced as chew, which is a verb, right? To chew food, right? So we have tease and cheese, tip and chip, and remembering that this t, when it's in the beginning of the word, needs aspiration, right? So tin and chin, tear and cheer, art, arch, beat, beach, cat, catch, bent, bench. Now with sh and ch, this might also lead to some confusion, and then the contrasting words are share and chair, shoe, chew, shore, chore, shin, chin, ship, chip, shop, chop, wash, watch, cash, catch, wish, and witch. Okay. Another difficulty, this one is very common in Portuguese, okay? It's when letter S is between two vowels, and in Portuguese, when this happens, we pronounce this S as Z, okay? But this does not happen in English. There are some times that letter S is pronounced S, and sometimes it's pronounced Z, but most times letter S is there to represent voiceless alveolar fricative S. Okay, so words like house, mouse, and blouse are commonly mispronounced as house, mouse, and blouse, right? And all the words in this blue chart here, they should be pronounced with the voiceless alveolar fricative. So, s, all right? It's the case of base case, basic, basis, crisis, analysis, useful. And especially when we have a cognate, right, as fantasy, we pronounce it in Portuguese, fantasia, it's even harder to remember, right? But it should be fantasy, okay? These final S, marvelous, various, famous, when you have DIS prefix, it's also pronounced voicelessly. So disorder, disappear, dishonest, and also MIS prefix, so misuse, misinformation, and misinterpret, okay? Sometimes, as I said, letter S is used to represent Z, okay, as in these cases here, as in his, hers, theirs, does, was, is, resort, business, easy, whose, praise, because, desert, which, dessert, desert as well, right? But dessert is interesting because it's double S, right? And it's pronounced Z. Scissors, double S in the middle, it's pronounced with voicing, right? Scissors. And possessive is a great example because it has double S and double S again. The first one is voiceless, the first one is voiced, possess, and the second one is voiceless, possessive, right? Now, in English, we also have these cases of two words, one functioning as a noun, the other one as a verb, noun or adjective, and the other one as verb. And when it's the noun or adjective, it's voiceless. And when it's the verb, it's voiced. So it's the case of the abuse versus to abuse, the use versus to use, the excuse versus to excuse, house, house, close, and close, right? So it's close to me, and please close the door, all right? And we have these minimal pairs, words that sound the same. Spelling is different, sometimes very different, but in terms of pronunciation, they are minimal pairs, okay? The ones on the left, they're pronounced with the voiceless alveolar fricative S. The ones on the right, the Z. So you have ice, eyes, spice, spies, loss, laws, price, prize, face, phase, loose, lose, ones, ones, race, raise, advice, advise, niece, and knees. And just some more curiosity here, those words ending in SIS, they're singular, right? So one crisis, one analysis, parenthesis, and basis. And they're pronounced with the voiceless S, and we haven't covered vowels yet, but it's this lax vowel I, okay? So crisis, analysis, parenthesis, and basis. But when it's the plural form, we spell it with letter E, and the pronunciation changes. We change the vowel to the tense vowel E, and the final sound is voiced. So crisis, singular, crises. in the plural. The stress doesn't change, okay? It's still cry, stress syllable. But just to emphasize second syllable, it's sees, sees. So crises, analysis, analyses, parentheses, parentheses, basis, bases, okay? And another video from the Big Bang Theory, humorous video as you're gonna see, but it highlights pronunciation problems, communication problems that could come from mispronunciation.
I'm telling you, dude, the only way to feel better about Penny going out with other guys is for you to get back on the horse.
Horse.
What?
The phrase is get back on the horse, not whores.
That's disgusting, dude.
No, it's not. Never mind.
All right, so in this final video, the joke was that Raj pronounced whores, right? Well, he meant, right? He thought the same was this, but the pronunciation difference is whores, right? Versus horse, the animal, all right? So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next one is going to be about vowels, all right? So see you then. Bye-bye.